Do you ever feel like you're just treading water in this massive sea of self-help advice out there?
Oh, definitely.
You're trying to grow, trying to balance your, ambitions with just the daily grind.
Yeah.
And it feels like every other day there's some new secret to success. It can honestly leave you feeling more overwhelmed than effective.
It's a remarkably common feeling, actually. The sheer volume of information, it can ironically lead to this kind of paralysis.
Right.
Where you know what you should be doing, maybe, but making that into real sustainable change, it feels impossible.
Yeah.
We often end up looking for those quick fixes when what we really need is something deeper, a kind of foundational shift.
Exactly. And well, that's why today we're trying to cut through some of that noise. We're going to dive into a book that really is a foundational text, Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
The classic.
It really is. This isn't just another trend, It sold, over 25 million copies worldwide. It just resonates because it targets something deeper than just tactics.
And what's truly fascinating is how it's lasted. I mean, in an age where new productivity hacks pop up daily, Covey's framework, it still provides this sort of compass.
Yeah.
It doesn't offer just superficial tweaks. It's really proposing a complete realignment with fundamental human principles.
So our mission today is basically to unpack these core ideas. We'll look at how these habits aren't just some checklist, but more like a progressive path.
Building on each other.
Exactly. And explore practical ways you can actually apply them, hopefully to feel less overwhelmed and, more in control. We're drawing from analyses, practical guides, community discussions, trying to give you the full picture, not just a recap. So yeah, let's get started.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Stephen Covey's journey to these habits, it started with a really insightful discovery, didn't it? He spent 25 years studying successful people.
Right, in a long time.
And what he found was pretty striking. A lot of these really high achievers, they felt this kind of inner emptiness, like something crucial was missing.
And this emptiness, he basically concluded, stemmed from a pretty profound shift in how society defines success. He noticed that before World War I, success was largely tied to what he called the character ethic.
The character ethic. Okay, that sounds like it's rooted in deep personal values. What did he mean by that exactly?
Precisely. It was about those fundamental qualities, things like humility, fidelity, integrity, courage, justice.
The basics.
Yeah, the real bedrock stuff, seen as the foundation for lasting influence and true effectiveness. But then, after WWI, he saw this significant shift towards what he termed the personality ethic.
Ah, okay, and that's where he felt things started getting more superficial.
Absolutely. The personality ethic, it emphasizes the outward stuff, public image, specific behaviors, attitudes, skills, quick fixes.
Right.
Covey argued these approaches might lead to, shallow, quick successes, as he put it, but they often bypass the deeper principles needed for genuine, sustained effectiveness.
So his core argument was basically, for real, sustainable success, you have to cultivate your character, not just polish your personality. He famously said, what we are says far more than what we say or do.
And this brings us right to Covey's pivotal inside-out approach. It's not just about adjusting your outward behavior.
No.
It's about a fundamental transformation of your inner core, your character, your motives, the why behind it all. It's about adapting your entire paradigm, how you see yourself and the world, to create lasting change from the inside.
I find that shift just incredibly powerful. It really challenges the idea that simply learning new skills or, projecting confidence is enough. And this inside-out idea leads into his concept of a growth continuum, right, with 3 stages.
Yes, exactly. The continuum moves from dependence, rely on others, to independence, which is about self-reliance, taking care of yourself.
Which is where a lot of self-help stops, right? The lone achiever.
That's often the focus, yeah. But Covey argues the highest, the most mature achievement is actually interdependence.
Interdependence. So it's not about being some super effective lone wolf, but something bigger.
Precisely. Interdependence means independent people consciously choosing to work together. It's about leveraging everyone's strengths to get results far greater than any one person could manage alone.
Collaboration.
Exactly. Collaboration built on strong individual character. That's what unlocks that sort of exponential potential.
Okay. And to make sure this growth is sustainable, he talks about the PPC balance. That's more than just a catchy acronym, isn't it?
Oh, it's crucial. P is production, the results you want, the golden eggs, let's say. PC is production capability, the asset or ability that produces those results. The goose that lays the golden eggs.
Ah, the goose analogy. Got it.
Right. The insight here is you must balance producing results, P, with maintaining and enhancing the asset that creates them. PC. Like the farmer. P is the harvest. PC is the health of the farm. You can't just keep harvesting without tending the soil.
Otherwise, you burn out the asset. Makes sense. It's about the long game over short-term wins. So, with that foundation, let's look at the 7 habits themselves. They're set up as this progressive framework.
Yeah, they build on each other. The habits are be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first.
Okay, those first 3?
Those are the private victories. They're about self-mastery, building your character, making you truly independent. Then you have think win-win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, and synergize.
The public victories.
Right, those focus on building strong relationships and effective interdependence.
And number 7 wraps it all up, sharpen the saw.
It does. It's the habit of continuous self-renewal across all dimensions of your life, really. It sustains and enhances your ability to practice all the others. It keeps the whole system running.
Let's really dig into a few of these, starting with the very first one. Be proactive. Now, this sounds like just, taking initiative, but Covey's meaning is much deeper, isn't it?
Significantly deeper.
Yeah.
Be proactive isn't just about taking action. It's fundamentally about taking responsibility for your life.
Responsibility? How so?
By choosing your response to any situation, no matter the external circumstances. It means being driven by your values, not just your feelings or what's happening around you. You have that space, that freedom to choose.
Okay, and this is where that visual comes in, the circle of influence versus the circle of concern. What's the main idea there?
Well, the core insight is that proactive people, they focus their energy on what they can actually control or change their circle of influence.
Right.
And as they do that, that circle tends to get bigger over time. Reactive people, on the other hand, they tend to focus on things they can control, all the stuff in their wider circle of concern.
Which just leads to feeling like a victim, maybe?
Often, yeah. And it actually tends to shrink their influence. The real genius here is realizing that by consistently making small conscious choices within your power, you gradually expand the sphere of what you can impact.
It's that shift from I have to or I can't to I choose to or I can that really sets the stage for everything else.
Absolutely. It's the foundation.
Okay, moving on. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. This isn't just about setting goals, is it? It feels like a deeper kind of vision.
Oh, far deeper.
Yeah.
The really powerful insight here is that all things are created twice. There's the mental creation first, then the physical creation.
Mental, then physical.
Right. Without that clear mental blueprint, that end in mind, you might, as Covey famously put it, climb the ladder of success, only to find it's leaning against the wrong wall.
Oof. Yeah.
It's about defining what success truly means to you personally.
He has that thought experiment.
Yeah.
Imagine your own funeral. That really forces you to think about your legacy, doesn't it?
It's an incredibly potent exercise.
Yeah.
It makes you clarify your deepest values and what you really want people to remember about your character, your contributions.
Mm-hmm.
And from that understanding, you create a personal mission statement. Think of it like your personal constitution, grounded in timeless principles that give you a solid, unchanging foundation for your decisions.
So that sets the compass.
Okay.
But then how do you actually steer the ship day to day? That feels like habit 3, put first things first. This seems like where it gets really practical for people feeling overwhelmed.
Absolutely. This is the practical application of habits 1 and 2. It's about effective self-management, prioritization, using your independent will based on what you decided matters in habit 2.
Okay.
It's where you decide which tasks actually align with your deepest values and that long-term vision. Covey challenges us to ask, what one thing could I do regularly that I'm not doing now that would significantly improve my personal and professional life? That usually points towards habit 3 activities.
And this is where the famous Eisenhower matrix comes in. It's so simple, but really profound.
It really is. It just categorizes tasks by urgency and importance.
Yeah.
You've got quadrant 1, urgent and important crises, deadlines, problems, firefighting mode.
Right, the stuff that screams loudest.
Exactly. Then quadrant 3, urgent but not important interruptions, some emails, maybe some meetings, things that feel pressing but don't really move the needle on your core goals.
The distractions.
Pretty much. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important time wasters, trivia, mindless scrolling.
They all know that one.
But the real heart, the key to effective personal management, lies in quadrant 2. Important but not urgent.
Okay, important but not urgent, like what?
This is where prevention happens. Planning, relationship building, exercise, learning, preparation. True long-term growth stuff. The radical insight Covey had is that maximizing your time in quadrant 2 actually prevents things from ever becoming quadrant 1 crises in the first place.
So it's proactive maintenance, basically. It's not about doing more necessarily, but strategically doing less of the trivial stuff.
Exactly, and consistently investing time in what truly matters for the long haul. It requires the ability, the discipline really, to say no to less important things, even if they feel urgent.
That's powerful. Saying no. It's a proactive choice that improves work-life balance, planning, all of it, by focusing on your deep priorities.
Precisely. Peace of mind comes from knowing your actions align with your values.
Okay, so those are the private victories. Moving towards interdependence, we hit habit 4. Think win-win. Now, this isn't about just being nice or naive, is it?
Not at all. It's a philosophy, really.
Yes.
A mindset that constantly seeks mutual benefit in all human interactions. It views life as fundamentally cooperative, not some zero-sum game where someone has to lose for you to win.
Right.
The core insight driving this is fostering what Covey called an abundance mentality. The belief that there's enough success, enough resources, enough credit for everyone, as opposed to a scarcity mindset where you feel like you have to hoard or compete for everything.
That abundance mentality sounds key for collaboration.
It is. It allows for truly creative solutions where all parties genuinely gain something valuable.
Okay, that naturally leads into habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This one. It feels intuitive, but wow, do we mess this up often?
It's maybe the most commonly violated habit, yeah. Covey pointed out that most people don't listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. The transformative insight here is practicing empathic listening. Really listening to understand the other person's frame of reference, their feelings, their perspective, even their body language without immediately projecting your own autobiography onto them or jumping in with advice.
So diagnose before you prescribe.
Exactly. Build that vital emotional connection and true understanding first. That's the foundation for effective communication and problem solving.
And that understanding, that connection, it then enables habit 6, synergize. This one always sounded a bit like collaborative magic.
It kind of is. Synergy is the essence of creative cooperation. It's where the whole truly becomes greater than the sum of its parts.
The 1 + 1 = 3 idea.
Or 10, or 1,000, potentially. It's not compromise where maybe 1 + 1 equals 1.5 and everyone gives something up. Synergy is about creating a third alternative, something new and better that emerges from valuing and leveraging the differences between people.
Valuing differences, not just tolerating them.
Precisely. But it requires vulnerability, openness, trust, all built on the foundation of the previous habits, especially 4 and 5.
Okay, so all these habits, they obviously require consistent effort, which brings us neatly to habit 7, sharpen the saw. This is about self-renewal, right? Keeping the whole system running.
I'm sure it is absolutely crucial. And honestly, it's often the first thing to go when we get busy. The core insight is that taking time for self-renewal isn't a luxury. It's a necessary investment.
Like maintaining your tools.
Exactly like that. It's the woodcutter story. Covey uses the guy too busy sawing to take time to sharpen his saw. Eventually, his effectiveness just plummets because the tool is dull.
Yeah.
Sharpening the saw is about proactively maintaining and enhancing your most important asset.
And Covey breaks this down into 4 specific areas, doesn't he? 4 dimensions of renewal.
He does. He highlights 4 interconnected dimensions that need regular attention. First, physical. Pretty straightforward exercise, nutrition, getting enough rest, managing stress, taking care of your body.
Makes sense.
Second, social emotional. This is about building strong relationships, practicing empathy, habit 5, maybe engaging in service, developing your own intrinsic sense of security.
Connecting with others and yourself.
Third, spiritual. This can mean different things to different people, but it involves clarifying your core values. Habit 2, maybe meditation, prayer, spending time in nature, connecting with your purpose, studying inspiring texts.
It's a deeper why.
And fourth, mental. Keeping your mind active and sharp through reading, visualizing, planning, writing, continuous learning, maybe taking courses.
Okay, physical, social, emotional, spiritual, mental. And the key is they're all linked.
That's the critical insight. They're interconnected. Improving in one dimension positively impacts the others. Neglecting one can drag the others down. When you work on all 4 consistently, it creates this upward spiral of learning, committing, and doing. Continuous growth.
That makes perfect sense. It's like holistic well-being is the fuel for everything else. And, this is where I think some other popular methods like maybe atomic habits really complement Covey's work.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great point. The 7 habits gives you the big picture, the why to, the fundamental principles, the mindset shifts, the character development.
With strategy.
Right. And Atomic Habits by James Clear offers more of the how-to specific, actionable tactics for building those tiny, consistent routines, making small, incremental changes stick.
So like the practical steps for habit 3 or habit 7?
Exactly. Many people find Atomic Habits is an excellent practical guide for implementing the kind of continuous improvement Covey talks about, especially in Sharpen the Saw. They're not really competing. They synergize quite well, actually, giving you both the vision and the tools.
That makes a lot of sense. Using Atomic Habits as maybe the detailed instruction manual for building some of those character-building behaviors. Now look, no book this huge goes without some thoughtful discussion, even critique, right? What are some interesting perspectives that come from looking at Covey's work from different angles?
Well, one important piece of context for some readers is just acknowledging Stephen Covey's own strong Latter-day Saint or Mormon faith. It naturally informed his teachings. And this isn't meant to diminish the book's value at all, but just to understand its philosophical roots. For instance, some critiques, like one by Sean Powery called a secular critique, point out areas where Covey's framework might imply things like absolute free will, or that principles must originate from a divine source.
Okay, so the argument might be that principles like, say, honesty or fairness are valuable because we observe their benefits in human society, not necessarily because they require a divine mandate.
Exactly that. Powery suggests you can also see principles and effective mental models of how reality works, figured out through observation over time. And that a secular life can be rich and meaningful without necessarily aligning with a specific religious worldview.
Interesting nuance.
It is. But it's important to note that even these critiques generally affirm the profound value and wide applicability of the book's core principles. They work across diverse audiences, diverse belief systems. The enduring appeal isn't really tied to any single perspective, but more to the timelessness of the principles themselves.
What a fantastic deep dive this has been into the 7 habits. It's really clear this isn't just, a productivity book. It's a whole framework for building a truly effective life from the inside out, moving from that dependence to independence and ultimately aiming for that high level of interdependence. It definitely addresses that initial feeling we talked about, being overwhelmed, by offering this really integrated approach.
It really empowers you, I think, to consciously design your life through principle-centered action, rather than just reacting to external forces or, jumping on the latest trend. It's about choosing to be the architect of your own character, your own destiny.
That's a great way to put it. So as you, our listener, reflect on everything we've discussed today, maybe consider this. Which one of the 7 habits resonates most strongly with you right now in your current situation, your current challenges? And then, maybe more importantly, what's just one small, actionable step, really small, that you could take maybe even today to move just a little bit closer to embodying that principle? Because ultimately, it's in those consistent small choices, isn't it, that profound, lasting character is built.